because, well, our members of parliament and our ministers of state, justices of the Supreme Court, including the Chief Justice, if this LI passes, can actually have sirens fitted on their vehicles and drive through traffic, asking all of us, when they're on official duties, which may be all the time, to give way so they can get to work. Many of you have gotten in touch with us this morning expressing anger. You say that cannot be the case. If there's traffic on the road, fix the problem. Don't insulate yourself from the challenges. Well, this morning, Dr. Yaw Perbi is a global CEO of the Heart Group, which grows holistic emerging leaders in 25 countries on 6 continents. He joins us on the phone. We'll also be joined by Appiah-Kubi, Member of Parliament for Asante Achim North. This morning we've been playing some of the things he said to our parliamentary correspondent Kweku Asante yesterday in Parliament. And of course, we're also going to be giving you a chance to join us. We're reading lots of your messages as well as activating the phone lines so you can join us. But Dr. Yaw Perbi, good morning and thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, Winston. It's good to hear your voice again.
Yes, and good to have you join us this morning. I mean, Dr. Perbi, these are our leaders, members of parliament. These are people who are serving our interest. And in the affairs of the state, they have to meet deadlines, like Appiah-Kubi says. And sometimes they're stuck in traffic. So shouldn't we be making their work easier? Shouldn't we be facilitating their access to these meeting places where they can take decisions in the best interest of their states?
You would think so, Winston, on the surface of it. But honestly, when I heard the Honorable Appiah-Kubi yesterday, I couldn't believe my ears and eyes. My first thought was, how did Ghana inherit such spoiled adults? We usually talk about spoiled children, but with all due respect, I'm saying I'm hearing spoiled adults speak, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Even before getting into the merits or demerits of the law per se, I would like to handle this in terms of, number one, the attitude of our public servants, and then secondly, the understanding of leadership.
Okay.
Honestly, I find the attitude of many of our public servants nauseating. There is a certain sense of entitlement, which for me is very saddening. The word minister itself, I'm using that as an example, actually means servant. And I have jokingly tell people that if ever I become president of this country, I will change all the term minister to servant, so that we know we are talking to the servant of education and the servant of transportation and the servant. But how can our servants be so entitled? So that's the number one thing. And I saw the television excerpt yesterday, with Honorable Appiah-Kubi, and honestly, that was the attitude that came forth. Entitlement, and that is a problem. Secondly, talking about leadership itself, a leader is a responsible person who serves and influences people to achieve a shared noble purpose. The first characteristic of a leader is that they are responsible. So I love it that Appiah-Kubi and our leaders are saying we want to be responsible, we want to meet deadlines, we want to, meet the KPIs you have given us. But that is only on the surface, because responsibility also means that you do not regularize emergencies. I mean, if you're always in a hurry to meet deadlines, you are irresponsible. Sometimes, yes, you will need to move in an emergency, and so yes, call a motorcade, whatever it is. But to be living every day as an emergency, or to give you the license to live every day like an emergency, that is irresponsible. I mean, like they say, once you cook in the kitchen, once in a while, pepper will get into your eyes. But what kind of person are you that every single time you go into the kitchen, pepper gets into your eyes? That is what I'm hearing. Look, I'm supposed to be on a certain radio station this morning at 8:30 a.m. Winston, I left my home in West Legon at 6 a.m. Because I know I'll be stuck in traffic. I've been parked at the parking station of the radio station, waiting in my car, working from my car, because I know there's going to be traffic. Our leaders have to be responsible, also plan their lives. And then you mentioned a very important point, fixing the problem itself. Why do we have traffic in Accra? I've lived in cities that have bigger populations than Accra and don't have the kind of traffic. Why don't we solve the fundamental problem? What are the alternative routes? Where are trains and buses? Almost everybody in Los Angeles, for example, decided to create these high-capacity, high-occupancy vehicle routes so that if you are more than two in a car, you have a special lane you use. Why? Almost every single car had one person in it. Why are we not solving the fundamental problem, rather skirting around the issue? The last thing I'll say is that leadership is servanthood. A leader is a responsible person who serves. Please, please, please. Our leaders must be seen to be truly serving us and not us pandering to their whims and caprices.
Okay.
You know, about the law itself, if there's anything, we need more laws to regulate our haphazardness, not less, and better implementation of the many wonderful laws we already have. A couple of times, I myself have fallen foul of traffic laws, and when I'm stopped by the police, I'm willing to go to court, and they are surprised that I'm willing to go to court. My own driving has really improved because in Canada, I kept getting speeding tickets. I can tell you that I largely drive by the speed limit now in Canada just because following the laws has regulated my behavior. In fact, my first driving test in Montreal, I failed the test. Have you seen, the last thing I'll say, have you seen the European prime ministers riding bicycles and trains to work?
Yeah.
Come on. The Dutch prime minister, just this video that surfaced last week, is riding a bicycle to work. And he's now going to be in charge of NATO, and he'll probably be riding all the way to NATO. Please, let's get serious.
All right, let me just, please hold on, Dr. Yaw Perbi. Let me bring in Franklin Cudjoe, founder and president of Umami Center for Policy and Education. Franklin, I'm sure you may have heard the Member of Parliament for Asante-Achim North, Appiah-Kubi. He's talked about, the challenges in meeting deadlines, or actually getting to meetings sometimes, and that he believes that the ministers and members of Parliament, the judges, justices of the Supreme Court, they need these things because of the role they play in society. And sometimes they need to have these meetings in the interest of the state. Would you, rather your minister was late to a meeting where he had to take a very important decision in your interest instead of just using a siren and getting to that meeting, Franklin?
So it depends on the qualitative outcomes of the meeting itself. If it is a meeting to go and pass a bill to pay $1 billion to ACRE, so that we would have lost that money in record time, maybe no. If it is a bill to all the cement regulations, cement price regulations, have you seen the LI? It's really upset. If it is a bill to do something like that, I frankly I don't understand. I'm in a hurry to go and do things like that. Look, many people have said this thing just doesn't make sense. Let's not stretch it. Before you realize, assemblymen, chairman of ward committee, political parties, people will start asking for all kinds of exemptions because these MPs and the executive and whoever have this exception. Is that the sort of society we want to create? What if the roads get jammed? They will now ask for helicopters so that they can fly above everybody else. Look, this thing. I shared hellfire the first time. I never wanted to say a thing because I wanted to gauge exactly what people would think, and exactly what is playing out. Exactly what I thought is what is playing out right now. This thing just doesn't make sense, not at all. So let's not even glorify it by having a proper discussion over it. In other jurisdictions, when MPs or even political leaders are found to break the law in terms of just going over a little over the speed limit that everybody is supposed to keep, they get fined, right? Mm-hmm. Why would you want to be given access to make noise? In fact, the siren actually makes a lot of noise, and then on these very cantankerous roads. What about asking for the rules to be expanded and done well? I thought one thing comes before the other. Parliaments have been said to be makers of their own laws, and that they can. The only thing they cannot do is to change a man to a woman. I've forgotten who said that. I've forgotten my government lessons. You probably know. And I think this is one of them. You cannot just make any law anyhow. I don't think it helps at all. By the way, did you know that the presidency actually issued a stern warning in 2017 as well as 2021, May 25th, May 2021, to members of parliament and ministers to desist from using sirens, and then obviously, sirens it was at the time.
I actually have the statement. The statement signed on... Yes, Franklin, I have the statement dated 19th May 2021, the one you're making reference to, where it talks about a ban on the usage of sirens. It says, for the avoidance of doubt, the said ban on the use of siren covers the following: honorable ministers and regional ministers and deputy ministers, MMDCEs, CEOs of government agencies, officials of the presidency, unless otherwise designated. Yes, Franklin, go ahead.
Well, so at the end of the day, I don't know how all of a sudden they decided to get the executive to quietly bring this back into the... I don't know who actually laid the bill. I have to find out who actually is sponsoring that bill. Is it the executive now? That the executive is now fine and happy that everybody else in parliament and ministers can make noise with sirens and actually railroad everybody by using the road. I don't understand it. So I want to know exactly whether that is the situation.
Great.
Look, this thing just doesn't make sense. If you are arguing, if my good friend Andy Appiah is arguing that, well, they need to get to a place quickly and that they get late, well, who is it? Dr. Kpebu is telling you, why don't you get up early? It reminds me of a story I read. I think it was the French journalist Bastille, who had hypothetically was suggesting that candlestick makers were accusing the sun of burning the candles. And so they went to Parliament to ask Parliament to pass a law against the sun. That's typically what is happening here. I mean, fix the fact that you get up early, go to your meetings, and get the road working for everybody else. And stop blaming your lateness as a result of some important thing you need to do.
Now, I mean, Dr. Perbi earlier started with, the bit about leadership and how it's irresponsible if you're consistently doing the same thing. He's talked about the fact that if you work in a kitchen, well, once in a while, you get pepper in your eyes. But if it happens all the time, then it means you have a challenge. Let's briefly, Franklin, before I get to Dr. Perbi, let's look, analyze the psyche. Why would a member of parliament, why will a minister of state, who's supposed to be helping fix the traffic situation, decide to have himself insulated from this?
Oh, you haven't read I'm sure you've read the 1984 George Orwell's, what's it called?
Oh, Animal Farm?
So, when people become too comfortable, they tend to pass all kinds of things. They call it the excellence of life. You begin to think that you are way above everybody else. That's what I'm saying, that the next thing you realize is that everywhere is jammed. They now will be looking. Maybe need to get helicopters or get cars that can fly. And then it has it anywhere. So for me, look, it is just people being too comfortable. And I've had some of my good friends. This morning I had a good laugh with my good friend Honorable Appiah-Kubi. I said, please, let's don't try it. I mean, if you try it, you see the angst already. People are angry already, and I don't think you want to anger them a lot more. I've seen what's his name, Dr. Dominic also write all kinds of things. Well, you should just go ahead and pass it and see what he saw people do to him anyway. So, look, this thing is unconscionable. It is senseless. Let's stop it. Period.
Let's stop it. Dr. Yaw Perbi, you've heard Franklin Cudjoe talk about the fact that this has to be stopped. Now, before I ask you that question, I also would want to find out from you the question I asked Franklin earlier about our leaders. Why would the very people tasked with solving our problems be looking at insulating themselves from the problems?
Winston, this is a question that is bigger than this airline issue, and it goes back to a fundamental misunderstanding of who a leader is and what leadership is. And that's why I began by that brief definition. Of course, there are over 360 definitions of leadership, but I threw that one there, So part of being responsible is fixing the problem. And so if you know your job as a leader, and I hear it on the news all the time, you have a minister of state coming forth and explaining problems to us. Duh, we have the problem. That's why we elected you to help us fix them. A leader solves problems. It's one of the fundamental things of leadership. If you can't solve the problem, get out of there and let's get somebody who can fix it. So it speaks. This clearly shows a very fundamental misunderstanding of leadership as responsibility. Even being responsible yourself, getting up on time, scheduling your life properly, managing your life, managing your time, fixing problems, and again, the misunderstanding of leadership as servanthood, that you are there to serve the people and not the other way around. This is a classic case of a misunderstanding of leadership, and I hope that it puts some sense into our heads. Honestly, Winston, Kenya is coming to Ghana. Kenya is coming to Ghana.
How?
We are fed up. We are really fed up with the people we elect. We form lines queue to get into office to come and serve our interests. Then they come and lord it over us. Then they come and take all our taxes down there, taking our state properties. They want our hotels. They want our... What kind of nonsense is that? Let us be warned. Kenya is coming to Ghana. And already Gambia, the young people in Gambia have protested, and things are changing. If that's what the governments want, they should continue this way. If they are white, they will stop this thing. They'll kill it even before wasting any more time on it. There are more urgent things to discuss as a country. Please, let's get serious.
So in effect, you're saying, stop this.
Absolutely.
And that you, as an individual, as a citizen of this country, you're warning them not to continue with it. Franklin, you're also saying Parliament should stop this. They shouldn't push this through, right?
Oh, of course, without a doubt. Clearly speaking, this is just not on, and I'm sure they are listening to the public, and so they better shelve it and focus on something more important. You know how this thing goes. Before I realize there's a procurement opportunity, somebody will go and procure sirens, fake and real ones. Charlie, this economy, this like I don't even know how to describe it. Anyway, let's leave it there. They should stop it, and I think they've heard it loud and clear. I don't think they would dare. I don't think they would dare at all.
All right, just hold on a minute for me, Franklin, because I need to say a thank you to Yaw Perbi. I know you have a program. You had indicated you're actually at the radio station. So thank you very much, Dr. Yaw Perbi, who's the global CEO of, the HAD Group, growing holistic emerging leaders in 25 countries on 6 continents. Franklin, anything you want to say finally before you can also leave us?
Well, leadership is not a difficult thing, and it's like Yaw Perbi says, either you lead, follow, or get out of the way. If you feel strongly about something, always reflect what others would think about it. Once you're in Parliament, any law you want to pass, think carefully about it. I'm surprised that both sides of the House are actually in support of it. I'm really, really surprised. Maybe there are people who are against it, but they are quiet. Let's look for them and they'll speak against it. But clearly speaking, this is just not on.
Great. Thank you very much, Franklin Cudjoe, for joining us. Franklin Cudjoe is founder and president of Umami Center for Policy and Education. So, Raymond, you've heard from Yaw Perbi, you've heard from Franklin Cudjoe, and the many people who are sending messages that are sending the signal. This is just not what we want today.
I am interested in hearing from the National Road Safety Commission.
Mm-hmm.
Is this what they would endorse? Will this make our roads safer? Will this make our roads better? Again, I am also interested in hearing from perhaps, they cannot be represented without their own people involved. the Judges and Magistrates Association.
Yeah.
Is this a complaint that they would like to associate it with? That they are in traffic all the time, they can't get through to traffic, go and deliver judgment or sit in court. So they need to be given the opportunity to rush quickly to go and do that. Because I think it's been made to look like we have settled on these matters. And I said it earlier, I agree. And I read the study that suggests that indeed this republic has a problem with traffic management. In fact, some people even try to put percentages to it. How much of our percentage is affected in terms of GDP wise by congestion and this attendant pollution, which end up affecting our healthcare systems and all of that. Again, because of poor roads and the road infrastructure not being evolved as we thought or we wanted it to be, it's compounded our problem. Nobody disputing that. But that is a national problem for all of us because we are all road users. It is not a problem that disproportionately affects MPs, ministers, and those in the judiciary. I hope you get my point.
Yeah.
So unless there is another study I've not seen yet, which suggests that MPs, ministers, and members of the judiciary are isolated and disproportionately affected by this situation. So they ought to be treated differently and given a special form of engagement on it. Perhaps, maybe, because this is an amendment to the existing LI 2180, which is regulations really. If these amendments were informed by a bigger study, maybe we've been told, and Appiah-Kubi mentioned productivity. So maybe there's a study which says MPs are unable to do their jobs properly. And a chunk of the reason is due to the fact that they spend all the time in traffic. And it's not just MPs, ministers. They are unable to lead ministries properly. They are unable to attend cabinet meetings. Again, also, judges are unable to deliver proper justice in the Republic of Ghana. But why do you think that judges should be exempted and not the other staff in the judicial service? Have you gone to court where the judicial secretary, the registrar is not there before? Nothing happens in the court. Not the judge. I'm saying the registrar, if he's not there, nothing happens. Nobody will bring the docket. Nobody will call the case. So are they equally important? Should they be given similar treatment? Are they? So unless maybe I see a study, because sometimes, maybe they are informed. Maybe the MPs know something that we, the rest of us, we do not know. But if it is merely on the fleeting reason that some have been arrested before, and we saw that, we saw videos of it, MPs' irresponsibility of abusing our laws or breaking traffic rules cannot be made law. Your irresponsibility, your indiscipline, is just like saying that I have a penchant to steal. So it reaches a point, I agree that it is my style to steal. And if my stealing does not work out properly, Winston and Co should make it possible for me to steal easily. And by enabling my stealing, you are just endorsing the abuse of our laws. But what signal are you even sending to young people? Yes, that you cannot lead properly. You cannot show the examples elsewhere. Your colleagues, when in other countries, when they catch them for traffic offenses, some apologize, some resign. They are very remorseful. As for you, because you've been caught several times for disobeying traffic regulations, your solution is that take away the traffic regulation and exempt us from the law. That signal is what people are responding to. And I think they should quietly reflect on that because it doesn't make sense. And again, they exempt their situation. We know that today, and in all fairness, if there was proper leadership on this matter, this bill, our amendment, wouldn't have been suggested by anybody. Because they would know that they are sending the wrong signal. Two, that they are behaving in ways that says, we don't serve the people, but we serve ourselves first. And you are not setting the right example for the rest of society. So today, we know Galamsey is terrible. The other you have to do is that let's legalize it. If we legalize it, we absorb the problem. Let's allow them to destroy our water bodies. No, finally, no. Let's just use a law because it's a law that makes it illegal. And it's for good reason. Your reason for removing it because there's a certain productivity you are not meeting. But let's not get it wrong. If the member of parliament who's been comfortable in our parliament and where we are as a country today, it's not discussing how we will never get to an IMF program again. It's not discussing how we will never do a domestic debt exchange program again. Those things appear not to be your topmost priority. And it is your ability to go and sit in the parliament you don't attend in the first place. Like yesterday, there are about 24 of them sitting in the parliament. They kept raising quorum issues left, right, center.
You see?
You really think that that's the kind of leadership people expect of you?
Not at all. And, citing the examples, you remember the, former energy secretary?
Yes.
Who at the point was going to be fined for speeding. Then his wife steps in and says, I was the one driving. When the wife eventually at the point of divorce said, oh, I wasn't the one, but I was coerced to do so. In the UK, they actually jailed both of them 8 months. That is not all. There are lots of examples in the UK, for instance. Robert Jenrick, who was immigration minister, he was banned 6 months from driving for speeding and fined £1,600. Minister.
In London today,
Yes.
they do congestion charge. So most people don't like driving in London because it's a terrible end. You are going to be in traffic and you are going to... So they use alternatives. Maybe the UK MPs should have also sought to insulate themselves by saying, please give a special treatment. There's air ambulance in London, right?
Yeah.
Use the air ambulance to pick us from home and take us to the office. Or any of the other RAF flights can be taking us to the office from our homes. The more you expand this, it is self-serving, which shows the kind of people we have in that office.
Great.
And in that position, yeah.
Let's get onto the phone lines again. Martin Kpebu is a private legal practitioner. He joins us on the phone. Martin, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, good morning, Winston.
Yes, Martin, hope you're doing very well this morning. So, I'm sure you've seen the law. We've been reading it this morning. What's wrong with the law? What's wrong with that law that today says ministers of state, members of parliament, justices of the Supreme Court, whom previously couldn't use sirens and bells, can now do so for while they are on official duty or they're using their official vehicles?
Yeah, Winston, that's the $1 million question. I can't also wrap my head around it. It's difficult for me. And just as you guys rightly say, you've said all the things, all the arguments I wanted to advance. Because Winston, as we talk now, about 10% of our population can't find food to eat, right? People are hungry. We all are feeling this cost of living crisis. And then you read that this is the kind of law that matters for our parliamentarians and ministers. You are like, how? Really? Because times are really hard. We are feeling the pinch of this cost of living crisis. So this thing is so annoying. I'm trying to be very reasonable to see that maybe there is something they have seen that we don't see. But Winston, I don't see it. I don't. Why would the minister need a siren? He also needs to wake up early to go to work. So if, Winston, you wake up at, let's say, 5 a.m. to prepare to go to work, why does the minister think he should sleep, wake up at 7 a.m. and so wants to get to work at 9? Or which are that? Are they not seeing it? You heard Dr. Perbi repeat that Kenya has come to Ghana. Oh. Yeah, Kenya is in Ghana, except that we won't be involved in the death. But the same anger and the movement is what is happening in here. People are very angry. So these ministers and parliamentarians shouldn't give that spark that will ignite the fire. We are very angry. This thing doesn't make sense. Why does an MP want to wake up at 8 a.m., not plan his day well, so that anytime he wishes, then that's when he will put a siren on the vehicle and start going to parliament? No, it shouldn't happen that way. If he needs to be in parliament at 9 a.m., and he lives in Kaswa and needs to wake up at 4 a.m., please, so be it. So be it. We can't have different laws for different people. And you see, Raymond, or was it yourself, you raised the argument about 3 days ago, or yesterday, that the moment they take themselves out of this traffic situation, the problem will never be solved because they won't feel it. Just like the way the president doesn't pay any taxes, right? So when they put e-levy and those stuff, he doesn't feel it. Or actually, not e-levy, but in terms of the personal taxes. So you see that the Constitution Review Commission said that no, when we amend the Constitution, the president should pay tax. So that when they are deducting his salary, he also feel it. He will think twice before signing any laws at all that want to deduct personal taxes, etc. Right? So there is everything for the argument that the moment they take themselves out of this traffic problem in Accra, that problem won't get solved because it is he who feels it who knows it. He who feels it knows it. If they don't feel it, they won't know that problem. You see?
Okay.
So that is the point, Winston. But they should know that we are really angry. Kenya is in Ghana, and it didn't start today. We have been telling them that the Arab Spring is coming to Ghana. The Arab Spring is coming to Ghana. The Arab Spring is coming to Ghana. They thought we were joking. You saw when TUC issued the statement on Friday. What happened? So President Kufuor and his government, they should take notice.
Okay.
They should take notice. Yeah.
All right.
Sovereignty resides in the people. That's Article 1 of our Constitution. Sovereignty resides in the people. The power belongs to us. They should stop taking us for granted and passing any kind of law that pleases them so that they won't feel the everyday problems that the ordinary Ghanaian feel. Then what is the essence of governance? They to say government, the democracy, is government of the people, for the people, and by the people. So if you are governing and we are not feeling the benefits, then it's not a democracy.
Okay.
Then we should just accept that it's an oligarchy. So it's just a few of them, family and friends. They will enjoy it, take everything, and leave the rest of us empty-handed.
Martin, thank you very, very much for joining us this morning. Now, on the 1st of March 2021, the Greater Accra Regional Minister, then Member of Parliament for Yaw Central here, Henry Quartey, was undergoing vetting to become Greater Accra Regional Minister. Listen to what he said concerning the use of sirens. Just listen to him.
One of the things that may not sound too well or good, perhaps in the ears of my colleagues, will be the abuse of sirens. I'm giving the nod, Mr. President. Mr. Chairman, I will ensure that the abuse of sirens in Accra will be a minimum. It is happening.
The abuse of what? Sirens?
Sirens and the use of blue lights. And Mr. Chairman.
You were Deputy Minister for Interior, weren't you? Where you truly had the mandate, the police were under you. You share with us what you did in respect of
Mr.
that.
Chairman, I did say it will not be too sweet in the ears of my colleagues, but it has to be done and we will do it.
I'm asking what you did when you were Deputy Minister for Interior.
Mr. Chairman, I was a Deputy Minister and my duty was to assist my minister in doing so. Now the President has made me his representative in Greater Accra, so this is one of the innovations that I want to bring in the region, for which when you give me the nod, I will be the minister.
In what capacity then?
Mr. Chairman, as the chairman of RECSEP, it becomes a regional security matter in Greater Accra. And with that,
very, very interesting. I will personally be discussing this with you as we go along.
So that's Henry Quartey, is now Interior Minister. At the time, he was being vetted as Greater Accra Regional Minister. And Raymond, you've talked about it. Now, these are persons, first of all, members of Parliament don't go to work on Mondays.
Yes.
Unless they have extended sitting, which is hardly.
The presumption is that even if you are a member of Parliament for Yaw West Wogon, you will travel
to your constituency.
Yes, to your constituency, because there are some who are MPs for Jabin and Co. So they'll go and they will come during the weekend, and sometimes they'll come late.
Yes.
So they will take off their entire Monday and appear in Parliament at 10 a.m. Sometimes they say if they are going to court, they have to come to Parliament after 2 p.m.
Yes.
Sometimes Parliament is waiting for them to come in after 2 p.m. Please, which agency is it that you woke up? We will come to work, right?
5 a.m.
You are 5 here. You stayed at home till 10, sometimes 2. 10 o'clock. I don't know what time you want to wake up. let's say you wake up at 6 and you engage family, eat breakfast, and then do everything. You mean to take 4 hours to get to work?
No.
And with that, you need a siren to escape the traffic on our roads to do that.
And even this is the other part. The fact that for you and I, we drive ourselves to work.
Oh, yes.
So you actually will be getting tired even as you drive in and out.
Yeah.
But for these members of parliament, we had made provision for them
Yeah.
to hire drivers
Yeah.
as part of their salary.
That's true.
We say you can actually sit at the back of your vehicle and be reading. Okay, if you want to even get into a virtual meeting,
Yeah.
you can do so on your way to work.
Yeah.
Because we have decided that as part of your conditions of service, you have a driver
Ministers too.
paid for by the state, which is part of your salary. We give you that money, pay your driver to drive you. You're still asking that affects your productivity. You're unable to get to work early. You can't make the 10 o'clock that you're supposed to be there. If you have a committee meeting at 8 o'clock, get to work early. Wake up early. Get your driver. He drives you to work.
We cannot solve an indiscipline problem with the change in the laws to promote indiscipline, with all due respect. Yes, but I mean, it's almost like we are legalizing your indiscipline. We all, if we had the opportunity to sleep for 10 hours, we'll do it all. Everybody enjoys the comfort of doing so. But we all have work to do. So please, and I'm insisting that even the work you are failing at it. I mean, some MPs, we are not discussing why you should even be in the parliament in the first place. At least Kwame Pianim told everybody that 5 US lawyers can do the job you are doing. And that they will represent and do the job wonderfully. Because most of you are failing woefully at the job. Even with an almost hanged parliament, you are failing terribly. And that you should read the room properly. People are not excited about what you are doing.
Look,
so in demanding privileges when you are failing, it's just like you not being productive at work. Then every day you are going to your boss for more salary. You are getting everybody angry because you are incompetent. That is the problem.
Look.
And so you cannot exceed and extend your quest for more incompetence and adding on privileges to incompetence. It frustrates everybody.
Listen to this carefully. I mean, people are sending messages, but this is one that my friend from Laboni, Kwame, sent. He says, "Good morning, Omega Winston. I've just left the washing bay and tried eavesdropping on discussions between the attendants, the boys, concerning the MP's use of siren. Listen to what they said. I beg my MPs not to shake this calm table we're on. The boys are visibly livid and angry. One said they are waiting calmly for it to be passed, and they will start tracking them one by one. Kenya, still fresh on my mind. Anger is an understatement." Then this is one that was actually sent by the Vice President of the Ghana Medical Association, Professor Ernest York. He says parliamentarians start work at 10 a.m. and sometimes even after midday. How many emergencies do they attend to in a year? They must plan to attend to their task. This is a typical animal farm situation. You see that there was no majority or minority in this issue. Was there lack of quorum yesterday due to the traffic on the road? They should fix the problem and not run away from it. It is nauseating, to say the least. People are getting angry. We've been joined by Dr. Adomako Kissi, who is Member of Parliament for Anya Sowutum, who wants to make an input in to the conversation. Dr. Adomako Kissi, thank you very much for joining us. Please go ahead.
Yes, good morning, and I've been listening to the program. Well done to a large extent. The media is very important in terms of governance. But I need to just draw attention to a few things.
Please do.
Personally, members of parliament's work is largely not limited to the work in the chamber. So that is one thing we need to put on record. And unfortunately, we're in a country where I remember Okoboy was let go because, quote unquote, he was not doing enough public engagement. And in our local parlance, they say, kuku kuku jaya, keka kekeme jaya. You know, we have voters or people, constituents, who expect you on a Saturday at about 5 funerals. 5 funerals on a Saturday. And I'm wondering, if you don't go, you know the consequences. You not end up staying in Parliament to even conduct the appropriate business that you went to Parliament for. So I'm only drawing your attention to the fact that one, a lot of our work is not necessarily in the chamber. On Friday, for instance, I have a very important healthcare meeting in my constituency. I also have to be at LA for another very governmental important thing. And I'm wondering how I'm going to split my time between these two very important and far apart programs, which require my attendance. And let me add that it is very unfortunate to say that members of parliament sleep a lot. I beg to differ. Sometimes we are up as late as 1 a.m. and up as early as 5 a.m. just to get to everything we need to do in a day. So I'm not necessarily a big fan of Sirens personally, and I don't have one. I've never bought one, but I'm only making that case that we're being a bit narrow when we only limit the members of parliament work to necessarily being in the chamber. And let me plead with you, let's not pitch the people against government or governance, because you know what, I am of the opinion that not all societal issues are necessarily because of lack of leadership. We the people also have a responsibility to the government in terms of how we manage ourselves in school, how we manage ourselves in finding a job, and unfortunately, everything is unfortunately put on government. And I am of the opinion that private enterprise has so much to contribute to this nation, and that we rather have to encourage a lot of private enterprise to move our nation forward. The people in government are very minute compared to the greater whole, and I am only expressing my sentiments as somebody who has spent very little time in government, which is 3 years, and a little close to 4. And I really think that today's discussion has been too narrowed in terms of, not really letting people look at the fact that, members of parliament have so many other engagements outside of parliament, which puts pressure on us.
Okay, now, Dr. Adomako Kissi, just by way of clarification, you talk about some of the meetings, and you've made reference to a particular meeting. I'll come to the other one later. So these meetings that you're talking about, a health committee in your constituency, Anyaso Utum, and so what's the time difference? What's the time range? One starts at what time? The other starts at what time?
One is at 9, the other is at 10.
9 a.m. and 10 a.m.
And 10 a.m. Yes.
Okay. Now, Dr. Adomako Kissi, you would agree with me that a meeting that starts at 9 a.m., you're definitely certain to miss the meeting that starts at 10 a.m. So
you miss the beginning.
The beginning, yes.
Beginning.
Yes, so why wouldn't you, for instance, knowing you have another meeting, probably get others to appreciate that they are better served by probably moving the time to, say, 12, when you would have finished the other meeting, and then you get into the next meeting?
These things are very easy when, discounting the fact that you might not be the chairman for the other meeting. You understand? I'm chairing the local meeting, which necessarily is important because, you're the local MP, and the onus is on you. So okay. I'm only drawing out, and sometimes you have about 4 meetings that I go. Let me tell you some interesting things where you have to be at Kofi and Ibri within the same day for very equally important meetings, or sometimes even 3. I'm even not a minister. I'm not even a deputy minister, and I know how difficult some of those bookings can be. And I'm only drawing our attention that, listen, we all go into government to help. And it is not necessarily about an animal farm situation. And you know, I would only plead, we represent the people. Ghanaians, unfortunately, make demands on MPs to be at their many programs. And I was expecting that maybe you would give them the audience to also say that, you know what, maybe our wedding and engagement, MP don't come. Our church fundraising activity, MP don't come. I mean, listen, that will be fair to us. That will be fair to us. So I'm only making that argument today that, you know, Ray and you know, I mean, listen, be a bit, you know, idealistic in terms of the fact that we're Africans first, and that we believe in socializing, and you know, people are happier to even hear that, oh, MP came through 5 minutes and left. You know, unfortunately, that is the situation we find ourselves in, and we are a reflection of the people we govern, or a reflection of the people we lead. And you know, you try doing something extraordinarily different, unfortunately, in our setting. And I have only cited one example of Okoboy. There are many Okoboys in Ghana, people who are very competent, willing to wake up very early to perform government duties, except for the fact that the engagements can be forced. Now, let me cite one last example.
Please do.
The road minister had to visit about 34 constituencies about a month ago. And looking at his heavy schedule, he needed to get to 5 constituencies in a day. Can you imagine moving from Kaswa to Anyanso in traffic? He would have spent the whole day, except for the fact that he had, extra hand to beat traffic. So I'm begging all of us that listen. It is not by virtue of the fact that maybe you were members of parliament. Don't alienate us. We are your people. We are working in your interest, though we might not be gaining all the things that our people wish for. We are like fathers, and every father wishes to provide the best for their wards. But always as they seem.
Now, Dr. Adomako Kissi, you said a lot of things. Just so I get you clearly, I mean, you're asking us that we should listen to you. So, you earlier talked about, for instance, having 5 funerals in your constituency, in a constituency. I want to give you the chance to explain this. How does your going to all 5 funerals affect your productivity and warrant the need for the use of a siren?
When I was young, I never liked my parents going to funerals until I got older. And then I realized that, African funerals are not necessarily just about burying, but it's a time for people to engage you and, in fact, discuss very community, development-related issues. And you'll be amazed about the number of times that certain very important, critical community-related issues come to bear during, a funeral occasion. And I think that maybe there should be an appropriate study with regards to discussions that happen, at funerals in the Ghanaian setting. And you would admit that you've been to some funerals that you ended up striking a conversation that led to maybe a nephew, a cousin getting a job, or a nephew, a cousin getting a scholarship, or a nephew, a cousin, having access to business support. So listen.
Yeah, but how does that become an official duty, warranting the use of a siren to attend all of them?
Well, I was only drawing your attention to the demands on a member of parliament, and why sometimes or many times we end up having to beat traffic. You understand? And that is my only case I'm making. Now, if you beat traffic with a motorcade, fair enough. If you have to beat traffic with a siren, fair enough. But my point is that it is not by might necessarily and not by choice that, the voters will vote you out for not engaging enough. Listen, and let's be very realistic. I cited a very powerful example. Ameke, Okoboye, Iba outdooring. I mean, that was the point. A fine gentleman, our Minister of Health now, was cited that, upon all the many powerful things he was doing for the Umami Ghana, the issue they had for voting him out was that he wasn't coming to enough. Listen, that is the reality.
Yes, but Dr. Adomako
That is our
Kissi,
reality, and you have to help.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Adomako Kissi, you would agree with me that a position of this nature, the fact that, the social meetings becomes untenable because we can all raise a lot of social meetings here and there. At the end of the day, the question is your official responsibilities. How are they affected by the current arrangement?
Well, I've cited, for instance, the fact that, listen, your committee might be meeting at Appiah-Kubi, okay, and then you might have another equally important meeting in Parliament, and it's concurrent sometimes. And to be at Appiah-Kubi for maybe 1.5 hours to make your contribution known, and to rush to Parliament to come and then make an additional contribution. This is the situation we find ourselves in.
Okay. Have we considered the fact that one of the good things COVID-19 gave us was virtual meetings? If your committee is meeting in Appiah-Kubi, you have another meeting in Parliament, why won't arrangements be made for those who have other meetings to join virtually? And so once you're done here, you join virtually without having to drive to Appiah-Kubi and then contribute. That's done, and it's simple, isn't it?
I would have loved that all things be virtual, but in person has its dimensions as well. You understand? In person has its dimensions.
Okay. Well, Dr. Adomako Kissi, thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us and making your point. As you indicated, you wanted to tell us the other side of it, and we'll leave the decision-making to Ghanaians. We're grateful. Dr. Ernest York has joined us. Dr. York, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. Tell us what your thoughts are.
Good morning, Winston, to your listeners. Thank you for having me. Winston, I think just give me a minute to paint the situation, and I call it, the animal farm scenario that is being played out. The definition of a siren or the use of a siren is for emergency and critical situations.
Yeah.
So I find it very difficult to understand the MP that came on describing their work, at attending funerals, constituency meetings, as qualifying as a critical situation or an emergency as the situation may be. I think those tasks are private, and I think they are being selfish in their approach to these things. And I think they should not underestimate the anger of the people.
Okay.
I mean, if they fix sirens on their car, and how many times do they attend to emergencies, even in a month? That relates to directly the work that they do in Parliament. If they are going for funeral, is that what they're going to use the sirens for? Now, I'll print you a situation that I faced last year. I was called to attend to an emergency at a certain hospital, and honestly, I jammed traffic. And I was stopped by the police, and I explained to him, and he was gracious enough to allow me to go through. I was ready to pay the consequences, or if I have to be taken to court, but I needed to attend to that emergency. Now, would I say that because of that, I should be given a siren to drive around it? What if I'm not attending emergencies anymore? And since last year, I've not had that situation. So I wouldn't say that qualifies me getting a siren on my car. So I think they should be real and face the bullet, bite the bullet and address the situation and not run away from it. They should do the needful and withdraw this bill and not underestimate the anger of the people.
Okay.
Thank you
very much, Dr. Ernest York. Let's go to Pokwasi now, where Joel is. Joel, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. Hello, Joel. Okay, I think we don't have Joel. Joel, please try and get in touch with us again on 0302216541 and then 05511119997. Edward is in Takrady. Edward, good morning. Hello, Edward. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Edward. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning. I can hear you. Tell us what your thoughts are.
Yes. Please, the minister just showed us that
Edward, if you could just reduce... Edward, please hold on a
Actually.
minute. If you could reduce the volume on your radio set so that you can hear us and not be listening to yourself, we'll be very glad. Please go ahead.
Okay, please hold on.
Okay, we're waiting for you.
Yes, hello?
Yes, it's better now. It was actually an MP, Member of Parliament, Fanya Sotum. Please continue, Edward.
Yes, what he just said, I mean, none of them is tenable. Yes, because most of us, we also have 4 or 5 funerals on Saturdays. But we managed to go. We are all Ghanaians. I mean, we all deserve better.
Okay.
And then, why do you want to go and do a meeting at the Diafe? Like all of you moving from Parliament and then go and meet at the Diafe. So some of the things, they themselves have to work it out and know how they can apportion their time well, because all what he's saying, it's not tenable. For example, like we all have deadlines to meet.
Okay.
Everybody has deadlines to meet.
Thank you very much, Edward from Takrady. Let's go to Kumasi, where Odami is. Odami, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Odami. Go ahead and share your thoughts with us.
Yeah, the MP has just muddied the waters. He has fought the case.
Oh, why?
You see, all the arguments that he made, they are self-seeking arguments. If you want to listen to the issues in your constituency, why don't you organize town hall meetings?
Okay.
For your people to come and share their opinion. Those funerals that they say they attend, is whose funeral? You know, their personal friend's funeral. Is it any ordinary person's funeral that they attend? They are all self-seeking. They are showing us their real nature. They have taken Ghanaians for a ride for so long. You see, Ghanaians, we are not angry enough. We only talk. When it comes to us, we run away. That is why our MPs are behaving like this. They have taken us for a ride for so long. They should stop these things before the anger of the youth comes up. They should stop it, because we are fed up as Ghanaians. They have disappointed us in so many ways. I mean, look at the things they are taking us through. Look at what is happening in the economy. They are not thinking about the economy, they are thinking about funerals, attending funerals. And they think that's what are paramount to the needs of Ghanaians. I'm sorry. We don't have a future as a country. If you have these people leading us, we don't have a future as a country.
Okay.
Look at what is happening to our youth.
Thank you very much, Odami. Let's stay in Kumasi. Kofi, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Winston. This is Kofi Bajumba from Kumasi.
Yes, Kofi.
I hope you are fine.
I am doing well, Kofi. I believe you're fine too.
Yeah, I'm very fine, very fine.
Great.
Only that I don't get the head and the tail of what the transport minister wants to do. They tell us that they represent their constituents, our interests. But look, we are buying high cost of petrol. We are buying high cost of electricity and the rest. This is affecting the constituents directly, and nobody is doing anything about it. But with their interest, they want us to, they want to go to Parliament and pass a law that will allow them to have their comfort. So my question is, do we have to always go out there and queue and vote for these people to satisfy their self-aggrandizement? I don't know what country, what kind of Ghana are we in, Winston?
Kofi, thank you very much for joining us. From Kumasi, we go to Kaswa. Cudjoe, good morning. We have Cudjoe from Kaswa on. Cudjoe, good morning. Okay, Cudjoe, please try and get in touch with us again. You can also do same, 0302 216 541. And then 055-1111-997. Let's get back to Kumasi. Well, it looks like a Kumasi show this morning. Samuel, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, Samuel.
Yeah, and please, you see, our parliamentarians are taking us for granted. It's good that you have brought this topic up for discussion. Look, I think it's about time we organize ourselves as citizens and demonstrate for these parliamentarians and the government to see the kind of hardship they are sending the people of Ghana through. Look, what do we hear? You want to have this LI implemented at the time of Ghana's economy. And you're not serious. Look, the caller who just went before I came, he elicited something that I support completely. Look, today, what is the price of cement? What is the price of petrol? Even the quality, we can't get it. And these are the same parliamentarians who look through the budget and approve them. And then just one MP saying they go to FINRA, and that is where they address challenges of their communities. That is very sad. To me, my good brother, this bill should not be considered in any situation. I want to hear about Bagden. He has been saying that he is there for Ghanaians. What is his stake? The CEOs, the CSOs, please organize yourself strongly. And this time around, I tell you, we will back you. We will pull ourselves on the street to demonstrate for these parliamentarians to get common sense in their head.
Easy.
They are fooling too much.
Easy, Samuel. Easy. Let's go to Klagong, where Cudjoe is. Cudjoe, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Cudjoe. Share your thoughts with us.
Yeah, thank you very much for the story. And the story about the siren is highly, highly vexatious, especially for the MPs who are producing very little. So I only advise Ghanaians to catch them young, vote them out. They are little foxes that spoil the vine. Our vine has tender grapes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, Cudjoe from Klagong. Triddle, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, please. Share your thoughts with us.
Thank you very much. I am so astonished of the way the MP spoke to you, especially touching on funerals and stuff like that. Listen, are these parliamentarians there for Ghanaians? Look, it's about time some of them knows that they are serving us. We are not serving them. For instance, if you have a program at 8 o'clock, why don't leave your home around 6? Drive safely to wherever you are going to attend a meeting. What are they taking Ghanaians for? And I am so disgusted that a whole MP, some of them, especially Appiah-Kubi, could be defending such bill. With all due respect and humility, I'm calling on Ghanaians to stand against this bill, because at the end of the day, these people that we stand in we queue to vote for them, they are not there for us. If they are there for us, why me? Wake up around 6:37 to go and queue and vote for my MP and the president, just to go and pass law, make sure that life is unbearable for me. Look at what they are thinking of themselves. Look at what they are taking for themselves. And I'm quite ashamed of this MP, Anya Soto MP, who come on radio just to justify this with funerals. Did we vote for you to be attending funerals? Yes, funerals are part of us.
He says that's just an example, of the numerous social events, but he actually makes the case that he's chairing a meeting in the morning. He has another one, from Anyanso Otum. He has to go to thereabout. So it's actually a challenge, and sometimes you need to make a point in Parliament. Your committee is meeting at Peduase. The funerals were just an illustration of sometimes part of the extra, things you do as a member of Parliament. Yes, go ahead, Trudeau.
Hello.
Okay. Yes, hello. Is that Nee from Teshi?
Yes, please.
Yes, Nee. Please go ahead.
Yes. this bill, I think we shouldn't even try relating it to the economy if cement prices are up and all that. Whether the economy is good or the economy is bad, this bill shouldn't be passed. Why should they even already, without the bill being passed, they all have sirens, they bypass us. We see them, they bypass us all the time. Even look at the abuse of the MP stickers, office of the president stickers. People have it on their cars and they bypass. If you pass this law, you see wives of MPs, children of MPs turning on sirens, MP driving. Okay, there will be total chaos. There will be total chaos. So this shouldn't be entertained. I don't know why. Where are the MPs who speak up? Please ask Cudjoe, Ablakwa, and the rest if they support these bills. Please ask them. We want MPs who don't support it to come out so that we know and let us know those who support it. And Ghanaians, as they say, we are not angry enough. We shouldn't demonstrate, go on street for the police to get a chance to abuse us. We should all sit at home. The key issue is to say, if they pass this bill, we should all sit at home. The roads will be quiet so that the police will not have anybody to abuse.
Okay.
And ask judges. Find the judges and ask, because they are the ones. Ask them why should you be in a hurry to go somewhere? If you want to be there, I go to work. My kids have to be in school early. I wake up early. By 4 I'm up, getting ready to take the kids. So why don't you do the same? Why should we always pass laws for them to be comfortable?
All right. Thank you very much, Ni from Teshi. Jones is at La, very close. Jones, good morning.
Good morning, Joy. This is Jones Adomako from La.
All right, Jones.
My question is, with all the things that borders are in this country, the only thing our parliamentarians are concerned about is to pass a law that trumps red light. We have a lot of issues that we are dealing with, and the only thing that concerns them is to pass a law that makes them to jump a traffic light. The ordinary people who can afford 3 square of meal a day, they are not thinking about that. They have already passed a number of laws that is affecting the ordinary people that put them there. Now, they want to lord on us. They want to lord on us. They want to tell us that we who put them there, they are not concerned about us. So they can lord on, they can ride on us at any time.
All right. Thank you very much. Jones from La. Let's make our last caller. Kissi is in Accra. Kissi, good morning.
Good morning, Winston.
Yes, Kissi.
Yeah, Winston, help me. The parliamentarians, the judges, and then the ministers. I think they have auxiliary workers.
Sure.
Yeah. So will they also be permitted to use those sirens and other things?
I don't see that in the LI.
But these are people they work with. So how come if they are going to, for instance, you take the judges, then it means all lawyers should also be using sirens, and possibly those who have cases for that day. Because they are the people you are going to work with. If you take parliamentarians, the ministers, they work with secretaries and other things. So how come they expect them to get there earlier? How would they get there earlier when they themselves are not? So if they are going to, then it means they should be spread across. Every one of these auxiliaries, from the judge to minister to parliamentarians, should also be given siren. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kissi from Accra, who will be our last caller on this particular issue. This is the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM.